Okay, very. So again, the focus here to a great extent is building your net worth, right? You're trying to build your net worth because your net worth is going to provide you with a monthly budget eventually, right? When you retire, depending on how much money you have when you retire, and that's going to determine your age, right? So if you're Kobe Bryant and you have a net worth of $500 million and you're 36, you say, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to go play for Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to go play in Colombia. I'm done, right? I'm not going to go play in Brazil or something. I'm done, right? Because of the net worth. Your net worth will give you a budget to sustain you to the end of your life. So this is very important. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the power of compounding interest. Okay. Okay, so these are three charts that show the basic power. Here's Michael Jordan. He's one of the richest men in the world. Okay, I wonder if I click on it, it'll get. Okay, so we're going to talk about hi luck, about the power of compound interest. This is a very important slide. These are basically three case studies. Okay, you have Susan, you have Billy, you have Chris. Now, at the two in the West Coast, the premier business school in the West Coast is Stanford, right? John Kennedy went to Stanford, for example. And the East Coast, the premier business school is Harvard, and I think Bush Jr. graduated from Harvard Business School, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the two big schools in the United States. At Harvard, they have a reputation for using case studies to study business. I don't particularly care for that. I don't think case studies are usually useful for business because it was another place, another time, other people, different circumstances. Okay, but sometimes case studies can be very useful. Okay, so say for example, you look at your friends or your family or neighbors and see what they did and what happened to them. Okay, for example, when I was in high school, I had a friend. He was a tall guy, over 6 feet tall, muscular, like almost like your ideal soldier, right? And he got into drugs. This was during the time of the hippies. He got into drugs, and then eventually he would say things that didn't make any sense. He was like a brother to me. We were very close. I loved him like a brother, and he would say things that didn't make sense, and he would write things that I would read them and they didn't make any sense, like just nothing. The total craziness. And then he disappeared. And what happened to him, I don't know. I think he probably died in the street. Right? Probably. Right? So that tells me, okay, well, that tells me drugs are probably not a good idea. Okay? Right? Or say George Harrison, the Beatles, he was a chain smoker. He smoked a lot, cigarettes, right? And then he developed lung cancer and he died of lung cancer. Right? So okay, so smoking cigarettes is probably not a good idea, right? So sometimes case studies are good. Or you look at people who are successful, right? What did they do to become successful, right? And so that's another case study. You say, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you see, okay, Neymar, right? Okay, that's probably a good idea to do that. Okay, so case studies I think can be useful, although I would not necessarily in business, but in real life. Okay, so we're going to look at these three cases: Susan, Bill, and Chris. And it talks about saving fundamentals. Harnessing the power of compounding can greatly impact the amount of savings or net worth over the long term. Okay, so let's start with Susan. And Susan invests $5,000 annually between the ages of 25 and 35. In total, she invests $50,000. So she started at 25 and she invested every year for 10 years. At age 35, she stopped. Okay, she probably stopped because she had children. Probably, right? She probably okay. Now instead of invest at maybe by age 35, she had a child, and then she instead of investing in financial instruments, she's investing her money in her children. So she stops. Okay, and then when she retires with this is her here with $602,000. Okay, this is probably not enough money for a woman in California. Probably not. Pretty close, but probably not enough. If you're a woman and you want to live a decent life in California, retired, starting from age 65 to maybe 85, there's probably not enough money. She'll probably eventually probably have to move to another state or another country. Okay, but still not too bad. Okay, then we look at Bill, and Bill invests 5,000 annually between the ages of 35 and 65, and in total he invests 150,000, a lot more than her, a lot more than her. She only invested 50,000, he invests 150,000, but he started later. He starts at age 35, and he doesn't stop because she stopped. And at age 65, he retires with $540,000. Okay, that's probably enough money for a man to retire in California and live a decent life, if you're male. Female, no. Okay, so she beats him, right? She only invested 50,000. He invested 150,000, and still she did better than he did. How come? How come her result was better than his? Because what? Time. Who started it first? Earlier. Susan started earlier. She started earlier. So even though she had to stop, maybe because she had a child, she still beats him because she started early. So being young is a critical thing. Okay, most of you guys are thinking in 20s, right? Are you 20, Lucas? 22. 22. How about Kite? 22. 22. Lucas. See, very strong position. Very strong position because you have tons of time to multiply your money.